Hi, everyone. I'm Bahar Zand, a passionate instructor for business analytics and founder of Busyversity. What is business analytics? You probably hear that term quite often these days, but what do we mean by business analytics? Business analytics is when you have some sort of the data, you collect the data, process the data, and then by looking at them, you try to identify some sort of a pattern, you identify some sort of the trend in the data, and then based on that, you make a decision. So finding out the trend or the pattern of the data, it could be as simple as putting those numbers or data in a chart, or you can conduct some sort of a statistical analytics on your numbers. But at the end, looking at those analytics and data, you make a decision for your business. It could be simple, related to your marketing. It could be related to your sales. It could be whether you make a decision to open up a store somewhere else or not. Those are all the decisions that you will make when it comes to your business strategy. So when data meets business strategy, that's where the business analytics come into play. Let me give you a very, very simple example of that. Let's say you have an online store and then you sell red t-shirts and blue t-shirts. You're looking at your data, which is your monthly sale, and then you see on monthly basis you sell 10 red t-shirts and 80 blue t-shirts. So for the following month, when you want to place an order and order your supplies for the store, you know that you should be ordering more of the blue shirts versus the red shirts. What did you do here? You basically made an informed decision for your business based on the data that you had. Business analytics has four different components: data collection, data analysis, decision making, and performance measurement. First phase of business analytics is actually data collection or data collection. What do we mean by data collection? Any sort of data that you're gathering from a variety of sources can help you make a decision about the business. Let's say one of those sources can be your customers' feedback. Whether you're sending out a surveys or whether they are just coming onto your website and send the feedback, they're just calling for the complaint department, which is very common in variety of industries to collect the customer's feedback. A customer's feedback that is negative can give you some insight about the quality of the service you provided, the quality of the product you provided, and if the customers are happy about a certain product or service, then you can make a decision of offering more of that item. Another source for your data could be a website. Let's say if you have an online store, for example, and you can collect the data about the number of the visitors who actually come to your website. How many of your customers or clients or visitors are actually returning customers? You can see which item is the one that was getting most viewed, but yet not being purchased, or items that are sitting in the shopping cart. Information like that or data like that that you can collect from the websites. Another source of that data can be just a simple market research. You want to know whether um, in some certain area, what is the average income? Let's say if you want to open a new coffee shop. So a market research for you will be finding out what is the average income, what is the average population, the age, whether it is going to be a good opportunity for you to open a new coffee shop there, or how many competitors you got. So those are kind of the data that you can collect from market research. Another good source of data for you, which is usually reliable data source, is your financial reports. For example, finding out the cost of each item or a cost of the sales. You can find out about the cost of the labor you're inputting into any sort of the service that you are offering. What are the other expenses you have? A good example of it can be your marketing expenses. Like if you are just comparing your cost, you can break down your marketing expenses of this is your Google ad cost, this is your Facebook ad cost, this is your Instagram ad cost. So all of these financial reports are related to your cost, revenue, profit, can actually help you a lot to make a decision about the business. Once you have collected your data, you can start doing the analysis on your data. There are a variety of methods that you can actually do your data analysis. The simple way of it would be just doing a visualization tools. Very common tools these days are Power BI, Tableau. Um, Many other tools are available. Very basic one would be Excel. You can just simply put it in the chart and see the trend and identify the pattern of the data. Another way of doing the data analysis, which is very common these days, especially on the health data, is using machine learning. Statistical modeling would be another way of doing the data analysis. We will talk about those methods in our future videos. Now that you have collected your data, you ran your analytics, and you were able to see some insight and trend of the data, you understand what the data story is telling you, it is time for you to make a decision. Those decisions are should be aligned with your business goals. Example, optimizing your marketing ROI. It could be increasing your market share. Let's talk about these two for a minute. Optimizing your marketing ROI means that if you are spending some money towards your advertising and marketing, you want to make sure you are getting the most return on investment. That means you have to find the best channel, the best target for yourself to actually spend money on your marketing. Or if your goal is increasing market share, then you need to realize and identify what can help your business to get the most market share. Is that the quality of the item? Is that the price of the item? Or, for example, if you are targeting in a specific geographical area, which location is actually the best so you can increase your market share. Another example of your decision making could be enhancing employees' productivity. Looking at the data, you can say, well, these are my top performers, and the reason that there's customers or these employees have the highest productivity is because whether they have these sort of tools, they have these sort of educations, you get the insight from the data that you collected. Increasing employee retention would be another example of the decision making. You want to make sure that the employees that you hire actually stay with you for a few years. Um, Hiring new employees is going to cost money for the company. Also, once you have an employee for a few years, they are already knowledgeable about the company, their product, their policies. So it is beneficial to the company to actually keep the employees for a longer time. And if you look at your data, you can do some sort of analytics to find out what is the reason that these people have decided to stay with the company longer. Is it because they are getting pay in a higher range? Is it because they have higher vacations? Or is it because of a certain policy that actually accommodates all these employees? Um, could it be because they're just closer to an office, or could it be because they got some sort of loan with the company and they cannot leave until they pay the loan? specifics like that that can help you identify why the employees are staying longer with the company, whether it is your company or any other company. That can actually help you make a decision on that. um, Obviously, another business goal that is kind of applied for all of the businesses would be increasing their revenue. You can look at it, you can look at your historical data or other data to find out how you can increase your revenue. Uh, Example, if you offer your blue shirt that we were talking about in few slides back, with a discount, would that increase your revenue? Or since you are not selling that many of the red shirts, maybe you can actually offer a sort of a bonus or a sort of sales or a sort of um, discount that you can actually sell more of that item and increase your revenue on the shirts. If you want to make sure that you're improving something, it is better to make sure that you actually measure it. So at different stages, you can see the performance. Um, it is the same thing when it comes to your business. You've actually made a decision, you implemented it, and now it is time for you to make sure that you are monitoring the performance, whether it is your sales, whether it is your revenue, whether it is employee retention. You can monitor it. For example, let's talk about employees retention. So you had last year, your employees' retention were averaging about 5 years. Each employee stayed with the company for about an average of 5 years. And this year, after you implemented a few new business strategies, now the average of employees' retention is 6 years. That means that you have actually made an improvement in that. For measuring the data or your performance, you can use variety of tools and you can use variety of charts. Um, a bar chart, um, pie chart, even a map can also help you to measure the performance. Let me give you an example here. So at the bottom, you will see a map in here. Let's assume your goal was to increase revenue in all the areas. And if these colors are actually showing how much close you are to that goal, you will see in the south region that you have green. That means you are actually achieving your goals. In the west region, however, you're in the yellow area, so you're getting close to the goal. And whatever is in northwest and midwest, let's assume those are the ones that you're far from your goal. So you can measure your performance using variety of tools. What are the common tools that are used in business analytics? The very basic one, which is the most common one, and actually majority of the companies use it, is Microsoft Excel. Excel is usually used for basic analysis. Business intelligence tools are the softwares that mainly are being used to create dashboards so you can monitor your progress. Um, Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, Google Data Studio, Looker, and even Click are some of the very common tools that are being used these days. You can also do your business analytics using the machine learning method or data science, more of an advanced statistical modeling. You can use Python and R. And if you have big data platforms that you want to use for data analytics, there are two most common ones are Hadoop and Spark. Why business analytics is important? Very good question. Business analytics actually can help you improve decision making. Again, well, let's go back to our online store selling t-shirts. If you don't if you don't have the data, if you don't do any sort of analytics, you don't know if you should have more of the red or you should have more of your blue shares in the stock. And this example is a very simplified example that I am covering here. We'll get into more complicated ones. Another reason that actually analytics is important is that it drives efficiency. It lets you identify where your problem areas are, what are your roadblocks, where can you optimize your business, whether it could be something as simple as watching your website. You're doing analytics on your website and you realize a lot of viewers that come into your website are actually getting stuck in one page, are not or they are not willing to move forward. Then you can identify a roadblock. Is that an ad that you have there? Is that a price that you have there? Could that be simply a color or something related um, to the customer that once they see it, they are not willing to move forward in that page or in your website? Enhancing customer experience is obviously another reason, and fostering innovation. When you collect the data from your customers' feedback, especially if it is a survey, you can definitely make an improvement in your service or the product that you are offering. Also, obviously, if you have more insight, you know what your customers want, then you can have more innovative ways of offering your products or services. And all of these will eventually help you grow your business and getting you closer to the goal that you have for the business. Let's review a very few applications of business analytics in real life. In retail industry, one of the main reasons that business analytics is being used is optimizing inventory, meaning that they're kind of doing the analytics on how many customers out there have the are coming into their store and want that specific item. So they make sure that they have that inventory or that product in the inventory. However, they don't want to have more inventory than it is required because it's going to cost them, it's going to fill up the shelves, or especially if that retail is a sort of like grocery store and those items are going to go bad after a while, they don't want to keep more than what is necessary on the shelf. Another good example of business analytics is in finance. Um, Banking industry actually uses that for fraud detection. They're using analytics on customers' behavior based on their banking transactions. For example, if you are, they know that majority of the customers that are living in this area are spending the money in this area. So if you live in California and one day they detect a transaction in New York, you probably receive a notification. They want you to confirm that you did that transaction because knowing your historical transaction, knowing where you live, they want to make sure no one else is actually using that your credit card. And since it is not within the range that you usually use your credit card, it is actually trigger flag for them. Healthcare would be a very important one as well. They wanted to make sure that they're improving patient outcome using their business analytics, and marketing is also another channel that they're using, and that's where they wanted to personalize campaign. Meaning, if they are actually selling a certain product that is usually for teenagers, you don't want to waste that money in the campaign that is going for um, maybe an elder generation or vice versa. So you wanted to personalize your campaign, making sure that your target, your marketing investment is actually spent where it is applicable to that specific market. The beauty of business analytics is when you start from raw data, from just bunch of numbers, bunch of the data that at the beginning might not have any meaning for you, then you put them together and you start doing the analysis on it, and then you make a story out of it. And then based on that story, you make important decisions for the business. Whether you own your small company or you work for a bigger company or you have a big company, business analytics can help you identify the opportunities to grow and increase your revenue and profits. More videos are coming soon. We're going to have a lot to talk about business analytics. Stay tuned.